And we're back. Week 8, set 1, SWYK number 2. Yes, folks, always asking ourselves if there's a GCF. This time, it's a no. Folks, I'm not going to get tired of asking that question because sometime it's going to come back and be a yes. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of practice questions that are no's, right? So now we're thinking of things that multiply. Oops, drew a line there. I shouldn't have. Things that multiply together to give me 40. This time they have to add up to negative 14. Okay, so when you start looking through your list, now it's okay to think of it as positive 14, but in terms of adding together, because eventually you're going to land with the 10 and the 4, right? But you have to realize they both have to be negative, so it's going to be negative 10 and negative 4. The reason they both have to be negative is because they have to add up to a negative number. Now, you might ask yourself, well, okay, wouldn't that give me a negative 40? But no, remember they're both negative. So the product gives me positive 40. There you go. Got your final answer. 2. Is there a GC up? No. All right, so there need to multiply to 40 again, man. So we can pretty much go on and mark that on there. Okay, sorry, my bad. They have to multiply together to give me 40, but this time they have to add up to negative 22. Oh my goodness. I see it. I see it. Hopefully you see it right there. Yep. Right. X minus 20, X minus 2. So hopefully you're getting the hang of this. Is there a GCF? No. All right. Okay, so something's different here on this particular question. They have to multiply together to give me a negative 45. Okay, so far we've had all in positive multipliers. But this time it's negative. That is telling me that one of these has to be a positive and one of them has to be a negative. That's the only way you're going to get a negative product. Okay? Doesn't matter which one? No, it doesn't. What in the world? Something just went wrong with my face. Alright, so things that multiply together to give me 45. But now, you have to realize something. Because you're adding a positive and a negative number together, it's almost like you're taking a difference. It's like you're subtracting the two numbers. I know it's addition, but one's positive, one's negative, so it's like subtraction. So I need two numbers that multiply together to give me 45, but if you subtract them, you get 12. In this case, negative 12. So that means something very specific to me. All right? That means that the 15 has to go with the minus, and the 3 has to go with the plus, so that when you do the outsides and the insides, you get a negative 12x. That's extremely important. You cannot have x minus 3 and x plus 15. That would be a wrong answer. Okay? Question 4. Is there a GCF? No. All right. I know you're thinking to yourself, why does he keep asking that question if it's always no? Well, once again, it's going to come back sometime in the future. So we always have to look for it. So we did the square root. You got the x. You got your x. Same old there. Multiply together to give me negative 24, but have to add up to 5. I think we're coming down here because they have to have a difference of 5. This time, the 8 has to be positive and the 3 has to be negative, so that when we do the outsides and the insides, we end up with a positive 5x. Had that been a negative 5x, I would have just switched them. But it wasn't. Okay, so this one's called a difference of perfect squares. Difference of two squares. Okay, and it's actually very specific, but it's very easy. Now, you'll notice that I took this and I wrote plus 0x in the middle. Okay, that seems a little bizarre, doesn't it? All right, why would he do that? Well, I did it to show you something important. Are you going to write plus 0x? Probably not. There's no need to. Nobody does that at a party. I'm telling you. You get kicked out if you put 0x. Okay, but this is just for illustrative purposes only. Now, if we have to multiply together to give me negative 4, obviously we've got to have the 1 the plus and the 1's going to be minus, right? They have to add up to 0. Well, if you did 4 and 1, you're not going to get the sum of 0 no matter which way you do it. But if you do 2 and 2, you will. So the difference of two perfect squares pretty much goes like this. If you take the square root of the first and the square root of the last, one's a plus, one's a minus, you're done. That's how simple a difference of perfect squares is. Okay? not to be confused with a perfect square, a trinomial. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so here's another one of those differences of perfect squares. But I want you to notice something. If you take the square root of 4x squared, remember I kept saying, how do we get the first one? We take the square root. Well, here's that situation. You take the square root of 4x squared, you get 2x. So the first one's 2x, second one's 2x. Once again, you have to multiply together to give me negative 25. It's got to be a plus and a minus. The outsides and the insides have to add up to 0x. So that would have to be 5 and 5. Right? One's positive, one's negative. And when you multiply those together, if you would go through the FOIL process, whether you use a box or not, you would end up with what you have at the beginning, right? Because the outsides and the insides would cancel each other out and disappear, which is beautiful. Okay, that's another, I'm not going to do that one. That's another situation, another practice problem. Square root, one's plus, one's minus. That's it for this SWYK. Have a wonderful day.